Hey guys, it's Captain Ridge Murphy here. Our 2021 Maverick's going off to a new home. We got the new 22 sitting in the garage. We're gonna clean her up, make her look pretty for the new owner. And if you guys wanna stick around and learn how to do a little bit of that, whether it's washing, waxing, stick around and watch this video. You check it out. First and foremost, guys, we're just gonna start from the front of the boat and go all the way to the back. But right now, everything has to come out. Whether you're detailing or selling, it's gonna all have to come out. Take this time to say, okay, I got some old sticks from fishing out in the backcountry in the gutters. We're gonna throw that out. Come in here, just make sure all your leaves, everything that can't be washed out, let's go ahead and get it out of here. So guys, we're gonna use three little components for this. We're gonna use the Starbrite Extreme Clean, the Mildew Stain Remover, and the Rust Remover. If you're storing your boat, like I do, outside, just leave it cracked. You don't have to leave it wide open to accumulate dirt, because that's when your Extreme Clean is gonna be very necessary. And then over time, you're gonna get these small little rust spots like you do right here on these hatches, that we're just gonna spray a little bit. We're not gonna go crazy with it and come back and let it soak for a little bit, and it's just gonna take a little bit of rubbing, a little bit of TLC. With the Mildew Stain Remover, we're gonna come in here underneath everything, underneath here where the water's gonna get stuck in here, and in the hatch gutters is really, really crucial. You get in there. Now, some of these hatches on this Maverick are finished, and some of them are like this, where you have gel coat. Let's go ahead and get the Extreme Clean on there. Really get in there, guys. So now we're working our way from front to back. We haven't gotten into the hatches yet, but now take the time, remove your little console door. Start pulling out the things that you know are gonna go into your next boat and leaving the things that are going on to this boat. You got your registration. I always like to leave this for these guys, even if it's a dry box. Take the time to check your flares. You know you're gonna have to go to flares and you're gonna get stopped. So take your time. Okay, am I good? We're good to go. Keep the registration in there. That way the guy can go, hey, you know, I just bought the boat, I want to go for a ride. Make sure your life jackets are still good. Sunscreen, I'm putting back into the new boat. I have to have sunscreen. We spend a lot of time out in the sun. Let's go ahead and organize it a little bit. Power pole remote and trolling motor remotes. Okay, I'm not keeping these. We're gonna stay here. And just keep in mind, okay, I'm gonna have to go through this whole entire boat with this guy when he comes to pick it up, and I wanna make sure he has everything he needs. You don't wanna look like a fool when you're selling the boat. Make sure your fire extinguisher is good. It's gonna be in the green, we're good to go. That can go into the next boat. A pull start, you should have these just in case. God forbid your battery runs out. You're always gonna get a new one in the next boat. And if you don't have one, I really suggest you get one. With this console, it's got a little dirty. We got it nice and empty. We got all our plugs out. We got all our equipment out, our safety equipment, and we're gonna use two things. We're gonna use the Extreme Clean to get rid of the dirt and the stains and the grime, and then we're gonna come back in here with Corrosion Blocker. We're gonna pop that little fuse panel off, guys. We're gonna spray all this. Spray, spray, spray. Squirt, squirt, squirt. Squirt, 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 squirt. We're gonna do our terminals, our battery terminals. Something as simple as your battery terminals can save you one day when you have to remove everything. The metal parts on the binnacle where you're shifting, and every connection that you see in here, I'm gonna spray the top of the switches too. This isn't something I would normally do on a daily basis, but because we're about to wash the boat, yeah, okay, we're gonna wash all this off. We're gonna play devil's advocate, but guess what? We're still getting that in there. It's gonna seep in there just like it would if it was sprayed on there and left on there. We're just gonna wash all the residual stuff off. Even the hinge, guys, and we're just gonna spray the backside of the hinges. And you can do that on any boat, not just a Maverick. You got your little rubber gasket on your Mavericks that's gonna keep it from coming out the other side. Just let it soak in there and just kind of work it a little bit. We're gonna come back through here and wash everything real good, but let's get crazy with the spray right now. It's the one time a year. You should do it when you first do it, and about every 6 months maybe if you're gonna keep your boat for a little while. So I try to keep my tackle on the right side of the boat just for the torque of the motor, keep a little bit of extra weight. We got our leader materials all nice and stacked up in here, nice and stowed away. Best part of waking up, forges in your cup. And we got a bunch of tackle boxes that slide nice and neat underneath all of that big lip right here. These hatches are very spacious and nice way to really conceal all your tackle, but leave it as far forward as you possibly can. And again, we got the black mats, but we're gonna remove the black mat and we're gonna come in here, get all the dirt and grime out of here and clean it up for them. Now we got that out, and we're going back in here with the extreme clean. Imagine that. We're gonna get the gutters real good, get all this grime, all this dirt. Now over time, guys, leaving tackle in here, it's gonna get a little rusty. So we're coming in with the rust stain remover, but we're not gonna get too crazy with it. This stuff is really, really powerful stuff. And because we're spraying so crazy with all these chemicals, we're coming back with the corrosion blocker and we're gonna spray all the little brass fittings and all the little wires that we have in here for our power pole. And then not only that, guys, your rigging tube comes through here. So all your stuff that's going through your console is gonna go right up through there. So we're just gonna take care of all this, guys. We're gonna spray it all real good. Our aerator, we're spraying with corrosion block. This, we're spraying with corrosion blocker, gas shocks, and even this. If there's no rust on it, there's no reason to put the rust stain remover, but we can always get in here and work it. Make sure to work it, because if not, you're just spraying it on there. When it comes to going in your bilge, guys, the mildew stain remover is going to be your best friend. We're coming in here and we're going to spray absolutely everything, all your hoses, all your everything, and it's going to be white gel coat by the time we leave here. Let's go ahead and put the plug in there, close it up. Now we're going to go back up to the front of the boat and start working up there where we started originally. The hatches are always going to be the most pain in the butt. Get it done and then follow through with the rest of the boat. It's always going to make it work better that way. I like to use the Power Pine wash and wax. You can get it in a gallon, you can get it in those smaller bottles. But we're just gonna put a little bit in here. And for deep, deep cleans, guys, we're gonna put non-skid deck cleaner in here. We're just gonna pour a little bit in here because we're waxing afterwards. A lot of guys, oh my God, we can't use all these on this boat, we can't, there's too many chemicals. No, guess what? Starbrite makes wax. We're going back over everything with wax afterwards, and it's gonna be good. Then that way, throughout the day or throughout your week, you're using it just for little touch-up spots, just small little spots. And that way your wax is doing the job along with all the great things that we've been talking about throughout this video. Make sure to get underneath all the lips and just rub that really good. See, we sprayed our rust remover on there and we're just gonna slightly rub that to where we're gonna minimize all the stains that was on there before. Stick your hand in the mitt if you have to, and you can close it up and get your fingertips in there so you can really get in those hatches for it. So the last thing we want to do is take that high abrasive of the magic sponge and put it on our slick surfaces, right? Because we're going to come back in here and wax it and we don't want to scratch it. With the gel coat, we can get away with it. With the non-skid, we can get away with it. And even if you go really, really lightly on the smooth surfaces, you can, but you don't want to get all crazy like you would as you're doing the rest of the boat. You got to use the right tools for the right job. And that's what we're doing. It's not that we have too many tools, because we're using every single one of them. And that's important to remember when you're going to the store and going, well, why do I need to buy all this stuff? Well, if you want to get it done right, you got to get all the tools that you're going to need. Now remember, we sprayed everything with Corrosion Blocker up here. Yeah, we're wiping it all off, but it's all sitting down into where all the crevices that it needs to be in. When we sprayed our Extreme Clean inside this console, we didn't spray all the wires. We didn't spray all the everything that it takes to go in here. All we did was the floor to get rid of the grime that has been sitting underneath these mats for this whole time. We're gonna stick the door back on, rinse everything off so we don't get a bunch of water in here. And that way we're coming back with a controlled spray for when we do it the next time when we're getting everything nice and clean. All these little scuff marks from the cooler, guys. I know I said we're not supposed to use it on the light stuff, but we can only just go nice and easy. You don't gotta rub too hard, because guess what? We're buffing this out with wax later, but we wanna get the little black marks and all the little stains that have been left from the cooler rubbing against the console. We're just gonna lightly touch it. We're not really putting a lot of elbow grease. We're just gonna lightly touch it. After you get done washing out the inside of your console, make sure you get all the water out. Just wipe it clean, take the time, because it's gonna defeat the purpose. Get in the back of the console where it's gonna trap. Get inside the battery tray, even though your battery tray should already have some holes drilled in the bottom of it. And just wipe it out nice and clean and nice and dry. We're gonna go back in here. We're gonna wash the back side of this door and then clean it off again too. So guys, we've gone through all the hatches, we've gone through the console. Now it's time to get the whole entire boat. And for me, because we've been using our magic sponges and our mitts, what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm just gonna do a quick rinse out on everything. We're gonna flip it over, get it all nice and clean, get all that dirt and grime out of there. Same thing with our magic sponge. We're gonna just do a little rinsey rinse, squeeze it out, get all that dirt and grime and grease out of there. And because we're doing a deep clean, look at this nasty water. We're gonna get rid of all that, rinse out the bucket, and do a fresh mixture for our hull and our deck. We're gonna spray all the dirt off first, get this boat nice and sudsy, then we're gonna wash it by hand with our mitt and with our magic sponge. And then at the very end, we're gonna blast all the soap out with a pressure cleaner just to get all the little spots. Oh boy. Remember how I said it's nice to have an extra pull start around? A pull start, you should have these just in case. It's always good to have an extra one laying around. If anybody actually sits here long enough to watch this video, they're gonna get a good laugh out of this. Ready? All right, you ready now?
Yes, sir.
Ready?
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
I'm gonna do one more rinse real quick, guys, with just the hose, just because once you blast everything with a pressure cleaner, yeah, it gets everything. It gets all the hard little spots that were really hard to get. But now we got like little pieces of CDEC that came off, little pieces of rope, just little things that just get blasted all over the place, and all the clean stuff that you already had clean now isn't that clean anymore. So we're just gonna get everything with the hose, get all the little stuff that got flown all over the place, and then we're gonna dry it off and start prepping for our wax. A lot of times you'll get the lines right here, guys, and what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna go around this real quick. I'm not going crazy with the rust stain remover, just to kind of prevent that from happening. And that's gonna keep that drip line, that stain from coming in there and getting crazy with it. Our power pole needs a little bit of love, man. So we're gonna go in here with the extreme clean, get all this mud out of here, all this mud. And after we wash it out, we're gonna go back in there with the corrosion blocker on all the metal parts. So we're just gonna spray it thoroughly. Do real good. Get all that caked up mud that's been in there for a little while. The corrosion blocker, we're coming in here, getting all these parts. And once we get done compounding everything with the wax, we're gonna go back over it with Boat Guard. We're gonna come in here with that corrosion blocker. We're gonna hit the block. We're gonna hit all the pieces of this motor thoroughly. And then after we get done with it, we're gonna wipe it all down. And I'm gonna come back with a microfiber rag and I'm just gonna wipe off all the residual, all the leftover stuff that's kind of just on top of the plastic. It's gonna keep it from making it look good. So guys, now that we did the corrosion block over top, we're just coating all the plastics, all the little rubber hoses with just a little bit of Boat Guard. This is a trick that Jeff Page taught us in one of these videos that we did last time. We're gonna just get the rub rail and all the little things that need a little bit of just a touch-up wax. This would be more of your like cleaner wax, not so much your compound that's gonna have to do hard buffing, but this is a good little just spray and wipe off. You get done cleaning, just do your spare tire, do your tires on your trailer. It's a good little, just extra little shine. We're gonna put a little bit of polish on the cowling since the cowling's already off. Get it all nice and dry, get rid of all that water, and then just start at the top. Work your way down. Let it sit for a minute. Wipe it all off. We're gonna do the same thing with the lower half of the motor. I'm gonna just trim it up so it's easy to work with and get all these hard water spots off of there. Take a little bit of this leftover wax because I put a little too much. Make it go a little longer. Just gonna go down the power pole. And what we're doing, guys, is we're getting all the little bit of a tannic stain that we had from fishing in the back country and just leftover road grime and everything that's kind of harder to get that you normally don't get with the brush. We're just coming in here with this hull cleaner and we're putting it on dry and we're just making sure that we hit every little spot of the hull so there's no spots, because that way when we go back and go to do our wax, it has done its job and we've washed it off and dried it and we're working with a perfectly clean surface as if it would be coming straight out of the mold. Now we're getting to the fun part, guys. We're gonna use a little premium restore wax. Oh, get the dog out of the way. And what we're doing here is this wax is a little bit more gritty. We're gonna use it on the hull. And not that this hull is that bad and it doesn't have a lot of oxidation, but we just got a real clean surface now with using that hull cleaner. And with all this tannic stain that was down here, we want to make sure we get ahead of it, break everything down, and get it back to the way it was when it came out of the mold looking like our new boat. So we're going to shake this up real good. We've been shaking it for a while already. And we're going to come in here, we're going to put a little bit of wax on the applicator. And see how it's a lot thicker? It's not as runny as that other stuff we were using on the motor cowling. And we're going to come in here. And I kind of like to do a big line and then go back and buff it in and get all the little crevices and make sure you're getting it real good. Work in small sections. So, okay, I'm gonna do from here to this gas cap or this gas vent and everything in between. I might need to put a little bit more wax, but by coming in here
And getting up in like this, looking and seeing where the swirls are, you can always come around and touch everything back up.
Because we're using an orbital buffer, we're just gonna wipe all this extra residue and everything that's been left over off by hand with this terry cloth. Well guys, there you have it. From opening all the hatches to cleaning it out, to washing, all the way down to the waxing in the compound. From start to finish. If you guys like these videos, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.